Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Curiosity. Cheers.
Welcome back. Cheers.
Hey, Curious Cuties. Welcome to Curiosity. This week, you've got me and you've got Adam. Get ready for a roller coaster of candid conversations. In this episode, we spill the tea on everything from my foundational 3 tenets to our favorite sex positions. We talk about movies that make us cry, our favorite cheat meals, and even talk about our dream cars. From fashion inspirations to handling anxiety, no question is off limits. So, stay tuned for an intimate peek into our lives, answering your burning questions with honesty, humor, and of course, a dash of spice. You guys were spicy this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got all spicy questions. Actually, not all of them, but most of them are. So I will try to intertwine the wholesome and the less wholesome and the in-betweens. I'll try to mix it up, but
I guess it's time to put on a show.
Just so you know, it's going to be a roller coaster of a show. Okay. The first one I'm actually going to read is more on the wholesome. So we're going to start there so we don't...
We're going to start a little calm.
Yeah, so we don't...
We're not going to ruffle feathers yet.
I was going to say, so we don't put like a bad taste on this question because it was such a good question.
Okay,
so.
Great. We will start it with the questions that deserve to have their own space.
Okay. And actually, this first question is for me. Sorry, you can sit down.
That's great. You want me to ask it to you? I can.
No, it's okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just be here.
Okay.
I'll drink my drink.
I'll ask it to you back, kind of. I'll make my own version. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready for it.
I'm ready. Okay, so tell us more about your 3 tenets. Did you come up with them all at once or one at a time? How did you discover them? Was it intentional or did they just come to you? So thank you so much for asking that question. It's something I've mentioned in a couple episodes now as my 3 tenets in life. And I definitely didn't come up with them all at once. It definitely was over time. However, I called them and identified them as my tenets kind of all at once, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you just kind of like realized that they were the 3 pillars of your life.
My life and like how I see life and my perspective of life. And if you're freshly listening or if you just don't remember my specific 3 life tenets, I don't blame you. But there is, they are as follows. And not in any order, by the way, that the only thing you can count on is change. The only thing you can know is your own consciousness, and life really isn't that serious. Those are my 3 life tenets. So I got them just throughout my evolutions. I think the only thing you can know is your own consciousness. I started with that concept with Eckhart Tolle. And I listened to a bunch of his interviews and ended up reading one of his books. And it's something that at the end of the day, it all boils down to like your perspective, your own consciousness, like that's really all we can know. Like I could say there's a table there and Adam could be like, no, there's not. And then I'm like, who am I to say that there's not a table there according to him? So anyway, there's that. And then the only thing you can count on is change. That's just a fact of life. Things are constantly changing and evolving. And if they're not changing, it's dying. Like it's dying. Even when things are dying, they're changing. So everything is always changing. And then all that being said, life can seem like it's serious and that it's heady and you have to figure everything out, but it's not. It's actually meant to be enjoyed and experienced. And
it's like what Alice said on the last podcast. And that is that some people like to think too much.
Yeah.
Some people really enjoy the process of just constantly discovering something new, constantly diving into research and like really getting deep and into the nitty gritty on things. And I think that that's an amazing thing to do. It's once you start getting stuck in the necessity for that to define your life is when it starts to get a little bit too serious. When it starts to become something other than just fun research and like something that's expanding your mind.
Well, you're allowed to take things seriously. You're allowed to like be a mad scientist, because that's how I feel sometimes when I'm like in the depths of research and like figuring something out and like can't look up or breathe or whatever, feed myself because I'm just trying to figure something out. Like according to me, that's fun. So
Well, and I think you have a good balance with it too, though. It's like one of the earlier conversations we had in our relationship where we were talking about how you always take the newest information that's given to you as truth, and like any information that's presented to you is true until proven otherwise. And I think that just makes it so fun. It just keeps the world so open.
So if you were to come up with tenets, or if you've ever heard anything like, has anything like struck you that you're like, okay, that's like my life? Because for a while you were kind of Buddhist-like. And
well, I think a lot of men who go through deconstruction can kind of fall into the camp of the like, I deserve nothing, I expect nothing, therefore anything that I get or anything that happens to me is just amazing and good. But
I think that's also the work of social justice in a negative light, making men feel like they're not
deserve
allowed
nothing and that they can't
space.
take up any space at all. Yeah. It's really unfortunate because it really does feel good for a minute, honestly. Like, it was so nice to be like, you know what? That is amazing. But you know what it does is it further isolates good men from having conversations and growing community. And that to me is the problematic side of it. If you just want to live in that forever and you just love the peace of that and you still are going around and building relationships just with zero expectation and yet you're still able to like cultivate something meaningful. Awesome.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's not the case for a lot of people. And for me, it was not the case because it really drove me away from ever depending on anybody and ever allowing anybody to be there for me. And so, I mean, I think I don't know that there's necessarily a tenet to be built out of that, but I love the idea of the only thing that is constant is change, because I feel like that really is something that has enveloped my life, is that like, whether it's you changing and influencing me into change.
You're like forced to believe that.
Well, you challenge me to dive deeper and to claim things. But for me, my life and my belief systems have always been in flux. I've always been questioning everything. And so the change has never shifted speed for me. It's like, I have always been in love with change. I love new things. I love creating things. I love, like, it's once you get into the like mundanity of maintaining a process that you've developed that I start to kind of lose interest. And so change for me has always been the thing that's really driven me and given me passion. And you specifically have given me more confidence and power to like claim things when I'm in them. So you have almost given me the ability to stop changing in seasons. Because I sit in something for a minute. I'm like, I you know what? Actually, like you used to say, I am going to try it on for a little bit. I'm going to give it 2 weeks in this costume and see how this feels, see what I identify with. And then you know what? I'm going to keep the hat and I'm going to keep the funny glasses of this costume. And then I'm going to go put on some other stuff and see what else I want to add to this.
Yeah.
And I feel like as much as I know it's a tenet of yours that change is a constant, I think that you do a great job being present in the change that's happening and giving yourself the perception of pause.
Well, I really appreciate and respect people who are passionate yet are able to hold the ability or have the ability to recognize when their minds have changed or they've learned something new, whether they believe they were wrong in the past and now they've discovered something that's like a higher truth or whatever. I really appreciate those types of people. Like, I think through a lot of my evolution, there was times when people who were very impassioned scared me because it felt, just very intense. And I felt like they were always going to be like that. I wasn't holding space for them to be able to change their mind. Because I hadn't really gone through that like era of my life. And, so your perspective is like only what you, like your experience is. And I think as I've changed and I've been impassioned by many things and now have been able to come out the other side of a lot of them, whether it was my religion or whether it was veganism or whether it was like a political like leaning or whatever, like I've been able to publicly change my mind. And I really respect people who do that. Yeah. And now and also on the flip side, I think I used to be not scared of, but I looked down on people who would flippantly change, right? So it's like having enough grace and living enough life now to where I'm actually specifically really inspired by people who are impassioned, who can often change their mind. They're the most interesting. Again, that goes back to functions and how I say, like, I love people's functions.
Yeah.
Because I love passion and I love people researching what they're into, talking about what they're like into and like going hard for it. And then also knowing that like, hey, they've changed their mind before.
Yep.
And they've like owned up to it before. So I'm not worried, even if we disagree. I'm not I'm excited about that potential relationship with that person because I know the way they process is always like, there's always room for more.
They're giving you permission to be wrong.
Yeah.
And be happy about it.
Yeah.
And be excited to be wrong so that you can find something new.
Yeah.
Because like, I feel like when you don't have the perspective on claiming big ideas and making big changes, you think that when you make a big change, you have to be certain about it. And there's something that happens that when you make these big changes and you lose these identities and you form new ones, like veganism is a strong one for us. Everything is a perspective. You will be just as right as you believe yourself to be. And the moment you change, you will change your mind. And like us, we made a full 180. And I still believe that we were just as right then as we are now, because we're just chasing down information and we're just chasing down what's best for us. And we're chasing down what our perspective is on life. And I think you come to realize that like, oh, people who make big changes and lots of changes they're not certain in everything. They're just certain about their motivation to chase that rabbit.
Yeah. And by the way, just to go back a little bit to what you were saying about, or we were saying about men and social justice, nobody was ever asking, if we really got honest, nobody was asking men to not talk or take up space. It was just, don't overpower, don't like overshadow, try not to over talk. Anyway, I mean, you know that, but I'm just like saying, looking back on it, I'm like, we lost the plot when we took away white people's and men's like permission to be a part of conversations. It's like, no, that should have never been an option to like take away the ability to speak or the ability to have a perspective. It's just, hey, can we all have a fair share in this experience?
We need to expand.
Yes. Anyway.
We don't need to shrink back.
I digress.
Yeah.
But okay, are you ready? How do you keep things fresh with your mate?
With your mate?
With your mate. It's like that.
Honestly, keep it intellectually challenging. Like,
ooh, how do you intellectually challenge me?
Well, I mean, I feel like we just come up with new ideas and new thoughts all the time. Like, I feel like there's self-pursuit that challenges each other intellectually that I think is a turn on. Like when I see you growing in certain specific ways that are like when you surprise me with some like podcast that you're listening to and I'm like, that's so interesting. Like you just keep turning up the volume on the interest for me where I'm like, there are just so many facets about you.
So I am doing that to you then.
Of course you are. Yeah.
Oh. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is like the most attractive quality in a partner. And obviously...
You're attracted to my brain.
I am. I'm attracted to the way that you see the world.
Love that. And my answer? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't sound sexy, but like talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people are scared to talk about this like sex stuff.
You're really turned on by the literal language.
Yeah, yeah. People just like do sex. And I'm like... No, let's talk about it.
Yeah. You were a prime subject for sexting.
Love sexting.
The asterisk and then the thing.
I used to do that when I was in 8th grade, like
Absolutely,
a lot.
you did. Of course you did.
Yeah. I loved it.
That was a very purity culture swerve there.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not doing it. It's not porn. It's just my
brain
thoughts.
Is making porn though.
It's amazing. Yeah, sexting's it's pretty great. So yeah, I think literally talking about it. Okay, next question. What's y'all's biggest turn on from the other one?
Oh, well, that kind of answered that one.
Okay, well then, not my brain. Choose another one.
Biggest turn on from you. When you specifically dress up to look a certain way. Whether it's for an event or for me, when you specifically, because like, I love sitting with you and doing your little fashion shows, and that's a turn on for me.
Like when I get new clothes, you guys.
Yeah, and literally you're just like walking through and changing your clothes and putting all your outfits together. Like, I know the intent of those clothes is for you to feel good and you want me to like them, and so that to me is always a turn on. And then I like when you go through and pick from those clothes specifically, knowing how I feel about them.
That's so cute. I need to go shopping more.
I'm here for it. I'm always trying to encourage you to go shopping more and get the good makeup. Listen,
that's always been his thing.
Don't confuse these people. I'm trying to get you to buy more things.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And my biggest turn on from you, I mean, that big. Honestly.
You know what? You can just say it. I can just put a bleeping censor over it on the podcast.
That big dick. Well, honestly, I'm not really lying about that, because I honestly, it is, okay?
Look. BDE.
It's that too. Like, honestly, it's just okay. On a physical level, I do love that. I also just love that you're fit. Like, you just got a nice body all around.
Well, thank you.
So the whole thing turns me on. And yeah, but you're like BDE, like as in guys, I swear. So girls, listen up, or actually boys who listen to this podcast, be listening up, because I know you. She
about to drop some knowledge.
When I say boys, I'm like, I'm saying BOIS, right? Like, my boys.
I actually didn't know that. Like boys. Skater boy. Like Avril Lavigne style.
Oh, is that what? I don't know. I always say the girlies and the boys. BOI boys. Anyway.
All right, I love that.
Anyway, listen up.
New visual.
If you're trying to find a guy with a big dick, here's what you look for. Complete and utter, like, unashamed energy, like when it comes to their sensuality, sexuality, and femininity. Like, if they're comfortable in like expressing like any sort of like feminine characters, if anybody jokes at them about sexual stuff, like on the road, on tour. Let me give you an example. We're talking about how Adam.
Oh yeah, which story are you gonna go for here?
You gave me such a look. We like joked how like Adam had a pussy or something, because he was like one of the girls. Like, it was me, my sister, my mom, and we're like, Adam has a vagina, whatever. And he was like, yep, me and my big vagina. Like, he was just like, whatever. And he just said it back and wasn't like weird and wasn't like, no, I got a dick. Like, call me a man. Like, I'm a man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't have that energy of being like protective over his manhood. And so I didn't know it at the time, but I did find out later that he was packing, and like, that makes sense because he had nothing to like defend. Like, he was very secure in himself. Fair. So find a guy who's very secure in his manhood, that he like has no reason to ever like defend himself as a man, like, and his manliness and whatever. And then the other thing on a physical level, if you want to find a guy with a big dick, is look at his feet. If he's got fat feet, chances are you're good to go. Just
get with somebody that's like Norwegian or something. If they've got fat feet and they look a little bit like emaciated, they probably are there.
They don't have to be emaciated. But it might make it look bigger. So I don't know. Anyway, so wow. Didn't know I was going there, actually, but
I didn't either. Fun times.
Oh, so yeah, that's my other turn on. Is just like your BDE, which is like that was the whole point of that story, was non-defensive of your like manhood, manliness. You're not trying to defend something.
Is that why you specifically are attracted to men who are more balanced in their masculine and feminine?
Because they got big dicks?
Like, well, I mean, sure, but I mean, like, that's the energy. That to you is what big dick energy is. So
manly to me. I'm just like, oh my God, what's underneath those clothes?
All right.
Yes. I don't think I necessarily consciously think it, because I haven't been single since I discovered this. Do Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think I think there's like an innate, intuitive, instinctual thing for me that, I'm like, oh, he's not defensive of his manhood. He must be packing.
I'll keep that in mind for my future conversations.
For what?
You know, gotta help hook up your single girlfriends. I gotta keep an eye out for the guys I know.
Why do you have to be thinking about that?
Just trying to look out for the girls, all right?
Honestly, but those guys are just good guys too, and I want to be around them, not because they have big dicks, but maybe that's why.
First question, I make a new friend, you're like, how big's his dick?
Because it's basically like, how big's his ego? The bigger the ego, the smaller the dick. And then vice versa. So
Interesting.
Anyway.
I think there's science for that.
There's science. It's scientifically backed, you guys. Okay. Taking a pause from the dick conversations. Movies that make you cry.
Spicy.
Yeah, not spicy, but that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to we're going
trying
there.
to weave it in.
Yeah.
We're giving them breaks from everything. Movies that make me cry. I mean, am I allowed to add anime in here? Because so many of those. There's a movie called Your Name. Incredible. Crazy. So good.
What's the something in the Hound?
Fox and the Hound?
Fox and the Hound.
Those are the two characters in the movie.
Okay, well, I just forgot. That makes me cry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fox and the Hound.
Anything that has
Bambi.
An animal in it.
We literally cannot go see him. If there is even the inkling of a pet being in a movie, canceled. We are not going to see it.
No.
Not even if it doesn't even have to be about the pet.
No. If the pet is ever sad, no. Okay. Where do you get your fashion inspiration from?
Me?
Yeah, both of us.
I mean, I guess technically it's like tech wear, but mostly it's just the clothes I wear because of the work that I do. So for those of you that don't know, I work in a wood shop most of my life. And so I just use gear that works for that, Carhartt. And that's pretty much it. And things with lots of pockets. And it just ends up kind of turning into this utilitarian, tech wear, workwear, streetwear type thing. And then I wear big shoes, usually. You know why. Gotta accentuate the big dick energy. People just gotta know. I'd say 10% of my clothes are actually my fashion. The rest of them are your obligations? Yeah. The rest of them are... I got them for an event or for a photo shoot. So honestly, I don't feel like when I dress more baggy, and super oversized, that's definitely more my fashion. And so I would say not today. You can't really tell, but I would say my fashion, what I actually like and my inspiration come mostly from lesbians. I can see that. Mostly from just lesbian Pinterest boards. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just like the look. It's just my vibe. It is a good vibe. That and it's almost skatery. Yes. Which is great. It matches my skate shoes. Yeah. We sometimes look like we're wearing the same outfit. There's been only a couple times, but we're there's sometimes you wear my clothes. Yeah. I try not to wear yours, but on occasion I do. He wears all my jewelry. I do. All of it. That necklace, that earring, mine. That's okay. Makes him look cool. I do look way cooler with your jewelry on. Okay. Favorite cheat foods? Well, first of all, if we're talking an actual food, Taco Bell's cheesy gordita crunch every day. Okay. That's the cheat. Okay. It's delicious. And that's processed, so. Oh. Heavily. I don't know if it's anything but the process. It's just process. I'm eating just process. Okay. What about a candy? I'm thinking for you.
Is there like
I mean, I love Kit Kat bars, which is crazy because it's only 2 ingredients. And like Take Five's way more
it is
interesting.
only 2 ingredients?
Well, no, I mean like it is chocolate and
I
wafer.
was like, if it was 2 ingredients, I'd let you have it probably any time. But it's like
it is
ingredients.
it's not like a Snickers where it's got like 5 ingredients in it. It's not like a Take Five that might also have 5 ingredients given the name. But it's just simple. It's just wafers and chocolate. And I feel like I could eat 6 of them in a row and not entirely regret my life.
Okay. Love that.
I love Almond Joys though, and that feels like a hot take because most people don't like Almond Joys.
That is kind of a hot take. I think that's gross.
It's like top 3 candy for me.
You also love gay bacon. What is it actually?
Airhead strips, extreme strip, whatever those things are called.
Adam calls it gay bacon.
I do. It's rainbow bacon.
Yeah. Yeah. For myself, after I became unvegan, I tried all the fast food, and over time,
It's gotten terrible.
fast food sucks. Like over time, over 8 years that I was vegan, fast food lost its magic. It's filth now, except for Taco Bell every once in a while. Anyway, so I would say ice cream is probably like my cheat food or whatever.
Yeah, you like to drink your desserts.
Yeah.
That's what you've always said.
Ooh, a milkshake. Yeah, a milkshake would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I tried a McFlurry. I used to love McFlurries. And that literally, after 2 bites, my stomach was like, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay.
It's like plastic blended with a little bit of frozen milk.
Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah, it's not great.
Awful. Anyway,
They're all pretty bad at this point. There's not much good to it.
would you ever consider swinging?
We've talked about it in the past.
We have.
I think we would be less than swinging. We'd be more engaged in like social sex.
Social sex.
But I'm pretty sure.
I don't share.
Yeah.
I don't share. No. I considered it. I've gone there. I feel like I've done the work of being like, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, fuck that.
You're like, I'm okay with it. I just don't want it.
No. Yeah. And now I'm like, no, I've gone backwards. I'm like, no, I ain't sharing. I ain't sharing. Okay. You heard how good I got it. I ain't sharing.
You heard it here.
Next travel goals. Well, I'm going to Paris next month. So, which is crazy.
What about Paris are you most excited for?
Honestly, traveling to there and experiencing it like the very first day. Like,
Yeah, the magic of it just washing over you.
yeah.
The jet lag.
Yeah.
That kind of makes everything a little hazy and dreamy.
Mm-hmm. And then like our first day of like, I don't know, just it all hitting. What about you? Like travel goals? Next travel goals?
Well, I have 2 travel goals that are kind of opposite of one another. I really want to go to Norway, and I'd love to go just see that because like I love the cold. I love how like mountainous and beautiful, and it's like beaches and mountains like crazy, and like really old towns with cobblestone streets, old buildings. There's been a lot of like cultural preservation there. That really intrigues me, but I would want to be there for like 3 months. That's like something I would want to live in that environment for a minute and just like do the sauna straight into the ocean that's like ice cold and like just be in nature. Tokyo is my other destination that I'd love to go, but that's obvious. I mean, tech wear, streetwear, the culture that I'm into, watching anime.
You would just love that.
I mean, yeah. And just to me, it's the tattoo culture that's there. It's the onsens, it's the food, the like obsession with food. It's the hi-fi audio cafes. It's like all of my little niche-y things that I like. It just is there.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
If you could follow somebody like on Instagram or like on YouTube, would you rather follow someone who was Norwegian living in Japan or Japanese living in Norway?
Norwegian living in Japan. It would be
because
me.
That's you.
I'm like, great. Tell me how to do it.
Got it. I love that. I love both those places. I mean, since I'm going to Paris, I think like next I would love to go to like Italy.
Yeah.
Or I would really love to go to Scotland.
Yeah, Scotland would be cool.
Because that's my white. That's where my white is. I mean, except for that white right across from
I'm
me.
right here.
Yeah.
Nashville, Tennessee, unfortunately.
Okay. Dream cars. So I'll just go first because mine is stupid and not actually a dream car because I don't actually know what my dream car is. But when I was younger, I used to want a DeLorean because it sounded like my name and it was in Back to the Future. So
You're like, the future, my future car will be the car from Back to the Future that's named after me.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought those were sick. Now I don't really have a dream car. So Adam, on to you.
Honestly, your dream car could be what my dream car is, which is the Hyundai Envision 74.
Okay.
It's the one that's the hydrogen powered motor that was concept and just recently got announced that it's coming out in 2026. And they just started. There's a collaboration right now that's happening between car manufacturers to manufacture the first hydrogen engine that's mass producible.
Wow.
Because of what's happening in the industry right now, trying to move away from electric, because electric is still just as problematic as diesel. Or I mean, not even diesel, just gas.
Gas, yeah.
So yeah, it's like this huge joint effort that's happening right now. And that one was already announced to roll from concept in 2026.
Love that.
And it looks like a DeLorean, basically. It's like retro future.
Cool.
If you know what that kind of styling is, it's like if the Jetsons was real.
Yeah.
And that's very much my style.
Okay.
So I like that one. I like the Cybertruck.
Cybertruck. I knew that was coming.
I think it's sick. I think it's really utilitarian. And I like how obnoxious it is.
I love that. Love that.
But those two cars are kind of the same anyway.
Yeah.
They have similar shapes. One's just a car, one's a truck.
Very futuristic. And I love it. Okay, fave liquors or alcohol, like / alcohol.
Are we going name brand or are we going
whatever
type?
You want?
Isla Scotch. I'll just go that type of whiskey.
That's his favorite. I will say mine changes up. I don't love gin. I don't like gin, actually, even. Tequila, I overdid it for like a second and still to this day don't really care for it. So it's really between vodka and rum for me. If I'm doing a shot, rum all day.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Rum.
Coconut rum, banana rum, just rum straight, dark
Just
rum.
Rum. I love
white rum.
Honestly, I think I like rum even in drinks. However, saying you're going to be on rum for one night, it's like...
That is a choice.
You got to be careful with like, are you getting light rum or dark rum? And it's like, whatever.
Right.
And so like with vodka, it's like easier to be like, just vodka. Like you're sticking with the clear liquor, like you know what it is. It tastes good in anything. So it's really between those two. But I haven't really been drinking alcohol a whole lot, honestly.
We're kind of done with it at the moment.
When I've gotten beer and like a side of like a little like a lime to go in my beer.
Like cervezas, like just like Mexican lager.
Like Corona.
Yeah.
Like I've been so enjoying Coronas lately and like I say lately, I've literally had 2 beers, but like at 2 different times this year. But I was like, yeah, I wanted to drink. I wanted to like, I wanted something tasty and I did not feel the effects of it. And something you can
keep drinking
without
it being a sugary drink.
The first time I didn't. The second one I was hungry when I was drinking it. So I did feel the effects of that one.
Honestly, if I'm getting beer, I'm going to get a dark ale or a black ale, or I'm going to get a stout or I'm going to get a porter. Like it's going to be like bread and I'm going to chew my way through my beer.
Not me. I basically want mine to be just like super, super light. Like I would get like Bud Light. Like
you did say you liked Bud Light Lime.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good.
Yikes.
It is good.
That's fine. You're allowed to have your own opinions.
And then wine, I'm actually just really, really picky about wine. I love it, but I'm very picky. Like I won't drink it like from in the States. No thanks. And I very much prefer like organic. Like I'm just really picky when it comes to wine.
I've never met a Super Tuscan I didn't like.
Ass or tits?
Oh, I'm definitely a butt guy. I've been telling you this forever, but you have fooled me into being a boob guy because your boobs are just so good.
Oh my God, they don't look good in this shirt right now, but I appreciate
They're just so good. We were literally just talking about this yesterday.
I know.
We do talk about these things off camera.
That's what I'm saying. When I said like talk about it.
Yeah.
It just turns me on. So you're an ass guy.
Yeah.
And I just
love having something. It's just so good.
I love that. I love it. But I was just saying how if a white guy, his preference is ass, like there's just like this level of respect that I have for him because I'm just like, okay, so it's like not just like the obvious thing. Like
of course, everybody likes boobs.
Everybody loves boobs. Everybody loves boobs.
Yeah. It's a given.
So like, I don't know.
You have
Whenever
to have a refined palate.
So specifically when a white guy likes ass, I'm just like, okay, I'm glad. Like, you're a little cultured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So anyway, that's another thing to look for, maybe.
All right. How about you?
Wait, what about me?
Yeah.
Tits or ass?
Yeah.
Wait, on you?
Not on me.
On women?
Yeah.
Ooh. I used to really like boobs, but I don't really care about boobs because I just know them very well.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued when a girl has a nice juicy booty. I'm always like, girl, tell me how. Like, what did you do? What are you eating? How are you working out? I'm like intrigued by them. I'm like, how? Give me. I want it.
Okay. So then the equivalent would be chest or arms for guys.
Arms all day. I bite them. Love it. Yeah.
I already knew that one. That's why I do arm day every day.
Arms.
Curls for the girls.
Specifically forearms. Like I love, not specifically, not like over biceps and stuff. Like, but that's
It's got to be balanced.
It's got to be balanced. But like specifically a random thing that I really like. That's like a not your typical sexual appeal, like whatever.
Yeah.
Is I love a good forearm. So that's why I'm into the drummer thing. Okay. Trimmed, waxed, shaved, or natural?
I mean, you're really growing your armpits out right now, so I guess natural.
I'm not now. They're shaved. They're shaved. They are. They're shaved. But I just shaved them.
I mean, it's easier to eat when it's clean, not your armpits.
I was gonna say, ooh. Yeah. I
do love scuba diving.
So just shaved, I guess. So for both of us.
You want me to shave?
Don't you?
Just clean?
Yeah.
That is not what I do. Thank you very much. I don't want anybody thinking I'm walking around looking like clean SpongeBob over here.
I don't know what you do. Like shaved as in like you like trim. Oh, trimmed. Sorry, trimmed. I forgot that was an option.
Okay, great.
Trimmed. Wait, so do you like me shaved or trimmed? Do you like it all the way gone?
Yeah, it's less scratchy. Like I said, easier to eat.
Okay, well, for your face, I like it completely shaved. So it's less scratchy.
I do too. Agree.
Okay. All right. Now we're moving a little away from naughty. This is a good question.
Okay.
How do you handle anxiety and judgment from others? Yeah.
I don't care. I really don't care when people judge me. I honestly, I just never think of anybody else's opinion. I'm like, if somebody specifically likes something that I'm doing, I'm like, cool. Glad we have something in common. But like, I'm not really ever concerned with other people's opinion of me.
I am good. I don't give a shit what people think until people show that they like me, and then I'm all fucking anxious. Then I'm like, I have to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know how they're like liking me or seeing me, what their perspective of me is, but I know that they were enjoying it. So how do I replicate?
How do I keep doing that?
So then I get really anxious, honestly.
I see.
So
that makes sense.
Until somebody tells me they like me or like enjoy me or like I can tell that they are, I'm actually not worried. Don't care. Don't give a shit. But as soon as I know that they do, I'm like not okay. I'm like...
And that's not, I guess for me, that's not to say that I don't care about how I'm perceived in the world, because I care to like keep myself put together. I care to have fashion sense. I care to do my hair and look good and like, but I want to feel good for me. And the moment I feel good, I'm good.
Yeah.
And then anxiety, I guess it depends on what kind of anxiety. If it's like a deadline anxiety or if it's like existential anxiety, that's a little different for me. So like situational anxiety would like being in a room and like not really having my social energy for the day. For me, it's just realize that like a lot of people have the same experience for me. Mm-hmm. Make it not personal. Make it like everybody feels this. It's okay. If your choice right now is going to be to just like be quiet and just be chill, it's better than trying to put on an act that people are going to be able to tell that you're anxious.
Yeah, I think
just be chill.
I think since you have recognized one, your ability in social settings and how I think you've really embraced the fact that when you feel awkward or weird in a social setting, likely it's because they're being weird.
Yeah.
Like they're being awkward. They're not doing well socially. They're not asking you like you're feeling awkward because they're not following up with another question, or they're just saying something like
they're
that's
just letting
on them.
Conversations die.
A lot of the times, if you are feeling like you're really trying your best in a social setting and you're starting to feel awkward, but you're really trying, it's very likely you're not the awkward one. It's very likely.
Yeah, that's been really helpful information. That was something you told me like a couple months back, and that's been really beneficial.
Because then you can really see it, and you're just like, oh yeah, they're not answering me. Like they don't know anything to say. Like they're not good in social settings. They have no idea. They haven't asked me even my name because they're like that's on them. That's not on you. Like you've opened the floor. You've asked them about everything. You've shown kindness. You've introduced them to other people. Like you have to recognize that like it's probably them.
Yeah.
They're probably weird.
How about you in that kind of situation? Same for you?
Well, I don't necessarily feel awkward in social settings often anymore. And now I mean, I do.
Yeah.
Trust me, I do. But it's just not as often. Like I said, I think it's mostly when I feel like somebody does have an expectation of me and I feel like I can't meet it. Like they're like, oh, Lauren's coming. She's so funny. And then I'm like, not funny that day.
You're like, dang it, I forgot to prepare my jokes.
Or like, Lauren's so, she's so blunt, right? Like some people have described me as like, she's so blunt or so forward. I'm like, okay, I guess I need to like bring that.
Got to bring my hot takes.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I'm not always like that. So I think it's just like taking the pressure off myself to perform as what somebody has known of me in the past or whatever. And just been like, whatever. I'm new every day. If like you think something's weird or off with me, I'm like, it's not. I'm just a complex human being.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
And just letting that be and not just not putting that much pressure on myself.
At an existential level for me, it's usually it's just breath work that really helps me recenter on like just giving myself perspective on like my problem isn't that big. And the mantra that I've spoken over myself a lot is you always get it done. It always gets done. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
There has never been a time where you have had anxiety about something that's ahead of you or the way that your life is right now that you haven't made it through. That's ever become such a problem that it was unbearable. You've always made it. It's always been okay. You've got this. And then just breathe and just be grateful. Like one of the biggest things for me is gratitude meditations. I'll do that. And it's usually, I'll go back and I'll be grateful about specific things that have happened in my life. But honestly, almost casting in the same way that we've talked about future nostalgia, future gratitude, and just being so grateful. Like, even if I'm being a little delusional, I'm like, I am so happy right now.
We're
so
delusional
grateful.
This year. That's what, in forever. And
it's so helpful because sometimes being a realist is actually the least beneficial thing that you can do for your own health.
So true.
And it's
so true. The people that I know who call themselves realists, like, I'm like, yeah, but like you're sad a lot and like you're mad a lot and like I don't know, like I just.
There's been recent studies that have come out that people who are either self-diagnosed or clinically diagnosed depressed have the most accurate representation of reality. And
rough.
I'm like that. Then I actually don't want an accurate representation of reality. I'm okay with that.
I'll skip on out.
I'm like, as long as my life keeps moving along and it's not detrimental to my ability to like keep on living my life, I'll be delusional.
The only thing you know is your own consciousness. Again, it's like if you shift your consciousness into a delusional, like super positive, happy, like mindset. That's your, like, if that's your consciousness, that's the state of your consciousness, that will be the state of your reality.
Yeah, well, I think, and one of the biggest things for me too, especially with just like how often I have projects that are going, is like speaking about it. Like if I can change my own energy for an entire day. If I'm like, I have to work all day versus I have projects to get done today, just literally small language changes. I'm like, oh, projects are things I want to do. Yes, I make money from it. Yes, I have obligations. Yes, there are deadlines, but like These are all self-imposed. I could stop
You
doing
could literally
any of this.
walk out and you could walk out.
And I could also still be choosing it every day and call it work and exhaust myself just through my own language.
Yeah.
If I just change my vernacular and the way that I approach something, even something like work that can be very stressful and very like daunting, all I have to do is just change my language, and it literally makes it exciting or terrifying and
you
completely
get to like work.
Yeah.
You get to make money. Like you get, because you're physically capable of doing it, because you are.
I'm like,
whatever.
somebody values my talent. I value my talent. I want to build something. And I get to build something because I have access to the things that I have access to.
And your brain works well, and you can create things, and like you're smart, like you have the capability, like mentally, to be able to do it. Like
if you can just like position yourself to be grateful that you have something that you care to put energy and effort into, you'll realize that there's a lot of people around the world that don't have something to put their energy and effort into, and that's just as exhausting.
it kind of reminds me, I had a friend recently, this is kind of sidebar, but she got in a wreck recently, and she was in an Uber, and she was telling me the story, and how at the beginning of the ride, the Uber driver was telling her like, "Oh, I'm so tired of driving Uber. Like, I'm so like, I wish this wasn't my job. Like, I wish I had something else." And then like a few minutes later got in a wreck, and his car got real fucked up, and he was like all upset. And she told me that she said to him, she's like, "Well, you did say you didn't want this to be your job anymore." And like, I was like, "Ooh," that hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like,
"Oh my gosh,
that is so true."
Yeah.
And it made me think of so many things in my life. I'm like, wow, think of all the things that I've said before. I'm like, I'm so over this. I'm so not wanting this anymore. I'm so tired of like whatever. And it's like the universe or whatever is like, okay, let's like take it away. You don't want it?
There's an easy way to get rid of
this.
this.
You don't need it? Okay. So change of plans. All right. Like you really don't want this. Like, like herd, energy, red. Like, and not, that's a little scary territory when it comes to like, careful what you wish for. Cause I'm like,
You're like, language is also a prison.
Yeah. But like, yeah, take it or leave it. But yeah, I think that's like super important too. It's like remembering to speak positively over the things that like you have in your life. And if you can't think something positive, then like, yeah, you gotta, something in that you need to let it go.
Yeah, you need to change something.
It will be drastically done for you. So anyway, that was kind of a side tangent, but I wanted to share that with you because I hadn't shared that yet. And I'm like, wow, that's such a powerful testament to like our energy.
I think it all does come back to how you deal with anxiety. And in that kind of spot, you are giving away your power. And so power is taken on your situation rather than you claiming the power of your situation.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So we have one final question.
Ooh, is it sexy or is it intellectual?
It is sexy.
Ooh.
I had to leave one last one. What's your favorite sex position?
I mean, we just tried some things last time and that was pretty fun. I honestly, I don't know which one I prefer. Sometimes I like side to side, laying down next to each other. Sometimes I like you riding because then I can get the full picture. Last time I liked it when you were turned around and I just had your
reverse
booty in my hands.
Reverse cowgirl.
That was nice. Lots of different ways. It's fun to just kind of keep it moving.
He doesn't have a favorite, I guess. I've been good for that. Just missionary's been good for me, but it just gets the job done, you know?
Fair.
I like others too. Anyway, doesn't matter. We like them all.
We just like moving and rolling around.
All favorite. Okay, that is... Oh, my wrist hurts. That is all the questions. Thank you so much for the
Valentine's Day special.
The dirty, flirty, and thought-provoking questions.
Yeah, all very good.
A little bit of travel, a little bit of taboo, a little bit of
pondering the
Tenet.
universe.
you know?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Is it a little bit of pondering the universe?
Yeah. Very us. So thank you guys so much for listening.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
We love you. Stay curious. And until next time.
Bye.